Hi, Volume 5, Bible Story. We are at Part 1, Story 10, Fate of the Three Captains. Okay? Excuse me. I just had lunch. It wants to, it wants to, the digestion's getting crazy. Okay, Part 1, Story 10, Fate of the Three Captains. Okay? After Ahab's death, his son Ahaziah became king. Ahaziah, Ahaziah, Ahaziah became king of Israel. Sad to say, he was no better than his father or his mother, and served Baal and worshipped him, and provoked the anger of the Lord God of Israel. One day he met with a serious accident, falling out of an upper window in the palace. It seems that the wooden lattice must have given way as he leaned against it. How badly he was hurt, we are not told, but it was enough to make him worry whether or not he could get better. Anxious to learn his fate, he sent a messenger to inquire of Beelzebub. Beelzebub, yeah. B-A-L, Beelzebub. Beelzebub, the god of Ekron, just as though just as though this wooden idol would have known what was going to happen to him. On the way, the messenger met Elijah, though they did though they did not recognize him. He asked them sternly why they were going to seek help from Beelzebub rather than from God of heaven. Then he ordered them to turn back and tell Ahaziah that he was going to die. Ahaziah. So frightened that they so frightened were they by the old prophet that they obeyed him. Ahaziah was surprised to see them back so soon. When they told him what had happened, he asked them to describe the man who spoke to them. He wore a garment of haircloth, they said, with a girdle of leather about his loins. And they did not need to say more. That is Elijah, the Tishbite, said Ahaziah. Then he sent one of his captains with 50 men to seize Elijah and bring him to Samaria. The captain found the prophet sitting on a hilltop, and ordered him to come down at once. Thou man of God, he cried, the king hath said, come down. Elijah refused. He felt that this was no way for these godless soldiers of a godless king to treat a prophet of the Lord. If I be a man of God, he said, then let fire come down from heaven and consume thee and thy 50. A moment later, there was a sudden blaze of light as fire fell from heaven, and the men vanished. Then the king heard what had happened, and he was outraged, and sent a second captain with with another 50 men to capture Elijah and bring him to court. Elijah still sitting on the hilltop, quite undisturbed. Come quick, come down quickly, ordered the captain of the second 50. King's orders. Once again Elijah said, If I be a man of God, let fire come down from heaven and consume thee and thy 50. Again fire fell from heaven, and the captain and his men were consumed. When news of this reached Ahaz, he sent a third captain of 50 to take Elijah. This captain, however, had learned something from the sad fate of his friends. When he came to the hill where Elijah was sitting, he fell on his knees before Elijah and besought him, and said to him, O man of God, I pray thee, let my life and the life of these 50 my servants be precious in thy sight. And then, of course, it has the guy praying for his um his men in the illustration. Okay, let's go to the next page. And it says it's a Demavi. Okay, okay, get back to the story. God appreciate the humble attitude of this man, and he respected, and the respect was paid to his prophet. Go down with him, he told Elijah. Be not afraid of him. So Elijah went down with the captain, and with this captain and his 50 men, and came to the palace where Ahaz was lying in bed. Elijah showed no fear of the king, though he was now willing within his power and could so easily have been thrown into the dungeon any minute. Nor did he change his message. Instead, he told the king, as he had already told his messengers, that because he had sent for help to Beelzebub, the god of the Ekrons, rather than to the God of heaven, he would not recover from his sickness, but would surely die. And he did die, just as Elijah had said, not only, of course, because he had sent to inquire of Beelzebub, but because all his life, just like his father and mother, he hated Jehovah and served the gods of the heathens. And then, of course, it has him pointing at it. And this is a D.V. Lee. And it looks a little offset, but this is like I've been saying, these books are 70 years old. Okay, and that was the end of part 1, story 10. So, as always, we're going to take a break for a second, and then we'll get back to the next one. See you in a minute.